My parents savored their fancy meal and assumed I'd foot the bill. I walked into the restaurant and immediately sensed trouble. My parents' anniversary meal was over, dishes removed, wine glasses still condensation beaded on the table, that calm hush that follows a big spend. My mom glanced up and gave me that gentle smile she reserves for when she wants something. "You're running late," she said casually. Then, as if it were an old inside joke, she added, "You wouldn't mind picking up the tab, would you?" My sister chuckled, unfazed, no hint of shame. That's when it hit me. I wasn't invited to celebrate. I was there to put an end to it once and for all tonight. My name is Diana. I'm 30 now, and for most of my life, my family has summed me up in one word: easy. Easy to manage, easy to depend on, easy to hit up for help. They never said it kindly. From the outside, my family appears perfect. Parents still married, fond of throwing dinner parties. A younger sister who always beams in pictures. Holiday greetings that land precisely on schedule each year. Sit with us at a table, and you'd swear we were tight-knit. Affectionate, ordinary, but real closeness isn't about how frequently you gather. It's about who gets to take up room. Growing up, my sister Tiffany claimed all of it. Her views counted. Her feelings dictated the mood. If she needed anything, everyone adjusted. I learned young that staying silent kept things peaceful. Being undemanding won praise. When I didn't demand, Mom would touch my arm and say, "See, Diana gets it." Getting it became my job. By my mid-20s, that job started coming with costs, not formal bills. Just unspoken demands. I handled little things first. Groceries, bills, a vacation that mysteriously went over budget. Each time it was presented as short-term, each time it quietly turned ongoing. I never shared details of my job with them. I didn't deceive outright. I simply never corrected their belief that I had something ordinary, something secure, something that fit why I dressed plainly and avoided talking money. Letting them undervalue me maintained harmony. It also kept the asks coming. My parents loved marking occasions, anniversaries, birthdays, supposed career steps. They chose spots that impressed, venues where the staff knew them, menus without printed prices, and I was always notified last. After bookings were set, after choices were locked in, I convinced myself it was bad luck, scheduling. That comfortable falsehood you tell yourself until it seems real. On their anniversary evening, I came straight from the office, exhausted but ready. I carried a modest gift, meaningful, thoughtful. Something that showed I made the effort despite being late. But standing there amid cleared plates and content faces, I felt that familiar knot in my stomach. The one that said, "You know exactly where this is headed." I saw Mom's gaze dart to the check holder. Saw Dad relax back, full and happy. Saw Tiffany browsing her phone, totally at ease. They weren't holding off for me to dine. They were holding off for me to deliver. And for the first time, rather than slipping into my usual part, I asked myself what might happen if I refused. I took the empty seat they'd saved, the only one without a coat on it. The table still carried scents of rich sauce and wine, indulgent and complete. Mom lifted her water and sighed like a show had ended well. "You should have gotten here sooner," she noted, not harshly, just factually. "The food was outstanding," Dad agreed, already tugging at his collar. "You missed the highlights." Tiffany barely glanced up. "We kept some dessert for you," she said, then smirked. "Kind of." A server approached with the leather check presenter and set it squarely in the middle. Nobody reached for it. Nobody had to, it just waited. For me, Mom tilted her head. "You don't mind settling this, do you?" "We thought since you've been so busy with work lately." She left it hanging, as if it were mutual generosity, a grown-up agreement. Tiffany finally looked over, eyes moving from the check to me. "Chill," she said. "You're always reliable with this stuff." Then she grinned, entertained, still oblivious. That phrase struck deeper than I anticipated. I scanned the table. Dad looked away. Mom's smile stayed fixed. Tiffany returned to her screen. And in that instant, everything changed. Not rage, not quite, just sharp awareness. I mentally reviewed the past year. The sudden dinner plans, the messages that arrived only after bookings. The way my schedule was never considered, just announced. How tonight's text had no time listed, only the venue. "We're here already," Mom had written. "Come when you can." When you can. I eyed the plates once more, spotless. No remnants, no delay. They hadn't waited for me to share the meal. They'd waited for me to show up. I understood then that this wasn't about joy, or togetherness, or even cash. It was about assurance. They were assured I'd appear, assured I'd cover it, assured I wouldn't create a scene. That assurance had built up over years, request by request, every time I kept quiet for harmony. The check presenter seemed to weigh more just lying there. I took my water, sipped slowly, and stayed silent. I didn't debate, I didn't justify, I didn't defend. Because right then I grasped what I'd dodged for so long. This wasn't a mix-up. This was a pattern, and patterns don't shatter from words. They shatter when someone stops sustaining them. I settled the bill that night. Not from duty, not from fear. I did it for one final clear proof. One last verification that I wasn't mistaken about the trend. Driving home, city lights streaked by. My phone pinged once. A message from Mom, thanks for taking care of it. We knew you'd come through, no emoji, no affection, just ease, like a chore was done. At home, the quiet felt different. Not oppressive, purposeful. I dropped my keys, slipped off my shoes, and opened my laptop. The glow cut through the dim room, reliable and true. I skipped work docs. I opened the folder I avoided. The one I'd been building quietly for years, never admitting it aloud. Transfers, receipts, payments, assistance, each item minor alone, justifiable, explainable. Combined, they painted a stark picture. I scrolled deliberately. Meal after meal, trip costs, loans never returned, bills I'd handled without prompting now. It wasn't kindness. It was foundation. I leaned back and absorbed the figures. The sum didn't stun me. The duration did, how soon it began. How steadily it expanded, how seamlessly everyone adapted around it. Caleb entered with 2 coffees. He didn't pry, he never did. He placed one near me and paused. They didn't even bother pretending tonight, I said. He nodded. They never needed to, I recounted Tiffany's comment. The chuckle, the label, oblivious. Caleb's expression hardened, but he spoke evenly. That's what people use when they believe you'll never quit. I looked at the screen again. At entries that once seemed charitable, now pure burden. This stops, I stated, not furiously, firmly. Caleb didn't push back, he didn't celebrate. He simply asked, do you want to consult someone first? I knew who, my lawyer. The one for financial lines, not feelings. I shut the laptop at last. Not finished, just decided. I wasn't going to confront them. I wasn't going to declare it. And I wasn't going to dramatize. I was going to cease enabling. And the second I did, I knew the fallout wouldn't thunder. It would strike fast. I made no announcements to my family. No lengthy text. No warnings. I let habit run its course, assuming I'd handle the aftermath as always. 2 weeks on, Mom messaged about another dinner. Same spot. Same vibe. Anniversary redo, we need to be together. No question, no details, just the location. I replied yes. When I got there, it was identical, soft lighting. Hostess greeted us warmly. Parents already seated. Tiffany mid-anecdote, gesturing wildly while her boyfriend nodded like it was all brilliant. Conversation didn't pause as I joined. Mom touched my arm lightly. There you are, she said. We ordered ahead. Menus take forever, you know. I smiled, not strained, not forced. Serene. The evening progressed exactly as before. Courses came and went. Wines flowed without price checks. Dad grew louder after drinks. Tiffany snapped pics between bites, positioning perfectly. No one inquired about my preferences. I observed it all. Mom leaning back content. Dad ignoring the menu. Tiffany claiming shared dishes for herself. It was routine, flawlessly practiced. Mid-meal, Mom mentioned offhand, oh, any update on that other matter? I knew the reference. Another cost. Another presumption. Not yet, I replied. She nodded unbothered. We'll discuss soon. Soon. That word once twisted my gut. Tonight it didn't. As desserts landed, I signaled the server subtly. She paused, then set the check at the table's edge. Same spot. Same quiet, no movement. Mom eyed it, then me. Whenever you're set, she said softly. I didn't grab it. Instead, I rose. I'll fetch the manager quick, I said. The table stilled. Tiffany stared. Why? Just a quick question, I answered, still steady. The manager arrived promptly, courteous, professional. I spoke low enough that details stayed private, but the shift was clear. "Hello," I began. "I wanted to verify the payment setup for this reservation." He checked his device. His face adjusted slightly, not worried, alert. "Yes," he confirmed. "Prior arrangements have been deactivated." Mom straightened. "What does that mean?" The manager looked around. "It means we'll require payment from the group this evening." Quiet hit like a wall. Dad coughed. "Usually it's fine." "I see," the manager replied politely. "But tonight, no profile is linked." Mom turned to me fully. Her smile vanished. "Deanna," I held her eyes. "I won't be handling dinner tonight." Tiffany let out a short, incredulous laugh. "All right, hilarious." "I'm not joking," I said. Dad frowned. "What's this about?" I sat again, hands calm in my lap. "What's this about is that I've covered far more than dinners for years, and that's over." Mom's tone lowered. "You're choosing here." "I'm not choosing anything," I said. "I'm simply not doing what you assumed." Tiffany snorted. "So you'll humiliate us?" I met her gaze. "You weren't humiliated when you mocked me last time." Her lips parted, then shut. Dad leaned in. "This is family. You don't cut off support without discussion." "I've discussed," I said. "You just ignored." The manager fidgeted slightly. I faced him. "We'll need separate bills, please," Mom gasped. "Separate," I confirmed. "Mine and theirs." He nodded and left. Mom's cheeks reddened. "You can't." "I can," I replied. "And I am." Tiffany shoved her chair back. "This is insane after all we've done for you." I nearly smiled, not meanly, from insight. "What you've done," I said carefully, "is show me love has a price tag. And I'm done paying it." Dad shook his head. "You think this teaches us something?" "No," I answered. "It teaches me." The bills returned, one thin, one hefty. Mom stared like it was foreign. "I don't have my card," she said instinctively. "I know," I replied. Tiffany murmured to her boyfriend. He stood clumsily. "I have to take this," he mumbled, escaping. Mom's fingers shook opening her bag. Dad reached for his wallet, paused. For the first time, they seemed lost. Not furious, not righteous, unready. The manager waited. Mom looked up, eyes fierce. "You're liking this?" "I'm not," I said truthfully. "I'm done." She scanned my face for remorse, for weakness, for the old daughter who'd smooth it over. She found none. They paid, awkwardly, reluctantly, with queries they hated hearing. I covered my portion and rose. As I left, Mom said my name, not angry, not tender. Uncertain, I kept walking. Outside, the night air felt fresher. Easier. I knew it wasn't over. Calls would come, texts would pile, blame would follow, but the pattern was shattered. And once broken, it never rebuilds the same. The aftermath came gradually. Brief messages, ignored calls. Notes starting civil, turning biting. I replied to none, not from vengeance, from resolve. Without my silent backing, shifts happened quickly. Gatherings shrank. Events got delayed. The ease my parents carried started fracturing. Not theatrically, noticeably. Tiffany quit sharing shots from upscale spots. Her boyfriend vanished from talks. No one said sorry, I didn't wait for it. What caught me off guard was the lack of guilt. I'd pictured this for years, expecting pain. Grief. Instead, I felt solid, like I'd finally released a load I'd carried unknowingly. At home, things grew calmer in the best way. Caleb and I dined slowly. We discussed work, futures free of others' demands. For the first time, my hours felt mine. I didn't sever ties. I just quit buffering their world. Quit easing outcomes and absorbing costs. If they contacted, I responded directly. If they requested aid, I declined without reasons. And oddly, life went on. I didn't turn harsh. I turned firm. The restaurant moment receded, but the insight stayed. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're entrances you decide to unlock. And when you shut one that's sapped you for ages, the quiet beyond isn't isolation. It's tranquility. If you've been the reliable one, who arrives, who pays, who mends what others avoid, listen. You're not selfish for quitting. You're not unkind for prioritizing yourself. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.